Hello everybody, good morning and welcome back. In this session I am going to discuss about one important topic that is related to the ESP, which stands for Encapsulating Security Payload. And I am going to discuss about the two different modes that are supported by this ESP. The first mode is the transport mode and the second one is the tunnel mode. This topic is very important and we should know the difference between these two modes in which the ESP is going to operate. So, this is how we are going to discuss. First of all, we will discuss how the transport mode is going to work. We will see different steps that are involved in the transport mode, and then we will go through the tunnel mode, where we will discuss the one particular scenario where an external host is going to transmit the data from the source to the destination, and how it is going to do in the tunnel mode. That everything we will discuss, and we will end up the session with a small diagram that shows how the protocol operation is going to perform for the ESP with respect to the transport mode and with respect to the tunnel mode respectively. So, this is how I have planned for today's session. So, without delay, let us jump into our topic. As I told that the ESP is going to work in two different modes, that is the transport mode and the second one is the tunnel mode. Let us have an idea of how this transport mode and tunnel mode is going to happen by looking at a particular diagram. If you look at this diagram, you can observe that the first part, that means the upper part, represents the transport mode. So, the entire thing is related to the transport mode. And the lower part, which is this entire thing, this represents the tunnel mode of operation. Let us see what is this transport level security. So, if you can observe here that in the transport level security, the ESP is going to provide the security between two hosts. So, this is host 1, let us say it is H1 and this is H2. So, the transport mode is going to provide the security in terms of encryption, and optionally we have another option called as authentication, and it is provided directly between two hosts. This is a direct security that is provided here. And if you look at the second diagram, this one, you can see that this is a tunnel mode and this is something different from that of the transport mode. You can observe here that a particular organization is there. Let me explain it. So, an organization is there and it is having 4 different networks at 4 different locations. So, this is location 1 and this is location 2 and this is location 3 and this is location 4. Let us assume. And every location is having its own private network. This is the corporate network or private network. Similarly, at location L1 and at L2 it is having its own private network, and L3 it is having its own private network, and at L4 it is having its own private network. And you can see here that all these private networks are connected via the internet. So, the medium of communication or the medium that helps to communicate the data from one network to another network is the internet only. But remember that the tunnel mode operation can be used to set up a virtual private network. In short form, we will call it as VPN. So, in this example, we have the organization and it is having 4 private networks that are connected across the internet and hosts on the internal network. So, this is host 1 and this is host 2, host 3 and host 4. It is not mandatory that there exists only one host in each and every network. You can have any number of hosts, but in this example we are taking just for the sake of simplicity, we are taking only one host that is connected to the network. So hosts on the internal networks use the internet. This H1 connects to the H2. That means if H1 wants to communicate something to H2, or H1 wants to communicate to H3 or H4, that transport of data will be done via the internet. But remember that they do not interact with other internet based hosts. So this is a virtual private network. So it is related to the organization only. So these hosts that are present inside this virtual private network, they cannot communicate with the external internet based hosts. This is one of the important topic you should understand. So here in the transport mode, it is going to provide the security in the ESP packet format, but it is between the two directly connected hosts. Directly connected means it doesn't mean that there exists a link between this host and this host. There can be a network in between these hosts, but they are going to provide the security between these two hosts directly. But in the virtual private network via tunnel mode, you are going to create different networks for a organization that are situated in different locations, and those are connected via internet, but there exists security between these networks. That is achieved by making use of the tunnel mode. So you can say that here you can see that this network, this host or this private network is connected to H2 via this link. So this is going to operate in tunnel mode. So you can say that you have established a tunnel between this L1 and L2 networks. Similarly, if you see this L2 and L3, they are connected via this network. You can say that the L2 and L3 are having a tunnel that is connected between this L2 and L3. Similarly, L3 and L4, they are connected via a tunnel. L1 and L4 connected via a tunnel. L1 and L3 are also connected with a tunnel, and L4 and L2 are also connected with a tunnel. So this is a brief idea of what this transport mode is and what this tunnel mode is. Two important points you should remember is the transport mode provides the security services between two directly connected hosts, whereas the tunnel mode provides the security that is between the individual private networks of the same organization that is located in different locations. So you are going to establish a tunnel. Tunnel means nothing can be seen outside. And further discussions we will come to know what are the advantages we have with the tunnel mode. So once we have the brief idea of what this transport mode and tunnel mode is, let us go into the discussion of the transport mode ESP. So before this, let me have a small discussion on how the IP packet looks like. How the IP packet looks. We know that we have the ISO OSI model, which is the famous model which consists of 7 layers, but most frequently we will be using a particular protocol layer model which is called as TCP IP model. So the model that we are going to use is the TCP IP model, which consists of around 4 or 5 layers. It depends. Right. For example, in the OSI model we have 7 layers, starting with application layer and then presentation layer and then we have sessions layer, and then we have transport layer, and then we have network layer and the data link layer, and finally we have the physical layer. These are the 7 different layers. But in the real implementation, the TCP IP model, this is the real implementation. This is just an estimation. But why it is called as a standard model means this particular model is the base for other models. So TCP IP model makes use of the same 7 layers, same layers that are present inside the OSI model, but it will combine 2 or more layers into a single layer. That is the reason why we have around 4 or 5 layers here. If you look at the TCP IP model, the first layer is the application layer, we know very well about it, and the second layer what it takes is it combines the presentation layer, session layer into a single entity, and the transport layer into the single entity, which is called as the transport layer. After this we have this network layer. So this transport layer is nothing but it is a combination of presentation plus session layer plus transport layer. We combinedly call these 3 layers into a single name, with a single name, which is called as the transport layer. And we have this network layer, and finally you can combine this network and data link layer also, where you can call it as the network layer or the IP layer, anything is okay. And finally we have this physical layer. This is how the TCP IP model is defined with 4 or 5 layers. So keeping this in mind, you can see here that as I told that at the sender side the data is going to be transmitted from the application layer down to the physical layer. And when the data is transmitted from one layer to another layer, one particular layer is going to add its extra information in the form of headers. So we have some data that is submitted by an application, okay, and this data is transmitted to the transport layer, which do some processing over here and it adds some header part here. This is called as TCP header, like this. And this TCP header plus the data that is come from the application layer, this combinedly we call it as TCP segment. And this entire TCP segment is passed to the network layer. So at the network layer we have the TCP header followed by the application data, which we are calling it as the TCP segment, and this TCP header plus data becomes the payload. This is very important point. This is the payload for the IP layer. And IP layer, what it is going to do is it is going to add the IP header at this part. Like that, this entire IP header plus TCP header plus data will be transmitted to the physical layer, and it will do its necessary processing, and it will add some header or trailer based upon the scenario, and it is that particular data with all these TCP headers, IP headers and physical layer headers, it will be transmitted on to the communication channel. This is the communication channel that is connected. So that particular thing is transmitted to the communication channel. And at the destination point, the same 4 layers exist, that is the physical layer, and this time since it is a destination, you must be very careful that processing will be done from down to top. We have application layer like this. Once this packet has reached the destination through the communication channel, it will be submitted to the physical layer. And physical layer, it will do the necessary processing, and it will remove the physical header, and it will pass the remaining packet which consists of the IP header, the TCP header and the data here. It will do the necessary processing at the IP layer and IP header will be removed, and the remaining part will be transmitted to the transport layer. Therefore, the remaining part is nothing but the TCP header as well as the data. And at the transport layer of the destination, the transport header will be processed and the remaining data will be transmitted to the application layer. Therefore, you will be getting the data here. This is how the TCP IP is going to work with the data. So, whatever data you have, you transmit it from the application layer to the transport layer. The transport layer is going to add some additional information in the form of TCP headers, and that entire segment will be transmitted to the IP layer, where it will be doing some necessary processing, and it is going to add some IP headers, and then it will be transmitted to physical layer, and it will add some header or trailer, and then the entire packet will be transmitted via the communication channel, and the reverse process happens at the physical layer as we have explained just now. This is very important. The reason why I have discussed it here is we will come across the importance of this discussion in the coming discussions. So, once we have an idea of this TCP IP and how it is going to process, let us discuss how the IP packet looks like. By this particular discussion, you might have got some idea of how the IP packet looks like, right. So, it consists of three different parts. One is the data, which is the application data, and that particular application data is prefixed with the TCP header, and the TCP header is prefixed with the IP header. This is the original part, right. But remember that we have two versions of the IP. One is IPv4 and the second one is the IPv6. Let us see how these packets, IP packets look like in the IPv4 and how it is going to look in the case of IPv6. The IPv4 packet, as I told that, it is divided into three parts. This is the data part, which is nothing but the application data, and this is the TCP header, and this is the IP header. That is it. Very simple packet. But coming to IPv6, it also looks similar to this one, but it consists of some extra information that is needed to process. Why? Because it is an advanced version. So, the data part remains as it is somewhat lengthier in size. So, the data part of the application looks similar, and preceded to this data part we have TCP header, and this IP header is almost similar like this only, but within this IP header and TCP header we have some extension headers. These are some extension headers that is required for this IPv6. So, this is how the IP packet looks like. So, you keep this in mind, and let us go to our discussion once again to the discussion of this transport mode and the tunnel mode. So, the transport mode is used to encrypt the data, and optionally you can also have the authentication also. This is an optional thing. You have to select before sending the packet, and while you are making use of, or while you are creating the security association, you have to select. So, I want this encryption, I want the confidentiality service, I want the authentication service. So, if you select the confidentiality service, the data packet will be encrypted, and if you select the authentication service, after encryption the authentication information will be kept as the trailer. You should understand the difference between the two terms, that is the header and the trailer. The header is something that is added before the data. Before is called as header. Trailer means after. So whatever you add after, that is called as the trailer. This is just a terminology, that's it. And whatever you add before it, we call it as a header, that's it. So the transport mode ESP is used to encrypt, and optionally you can authenticate the data carried by IP. So you have seen this one. Let us go with the IPv4 only, not with IPv6. You have seen this particular packet, which consists of 3 parts. This is data, and then we have TCP header, and then we have IP header. So the meaning of this data carried by IP means it is nothing but the payload. The payload of the IP packet. So if you look at this one, the payload is nothing but the entire transport level segment that is received from the transport layer. So it consists of both this TCP header plus the data. These two things combinedly called as the payload for IP. Or you can also say that this is the data for IP packet. So the data carried by IP is nothing but the TCP segment, you can see here. So for this mode using IPv4, when I select the IPv4 here, and if I select the ESP mode, my selection is IPv4 and I want to secure it by using the ESP. So what happens here is, to this normal data, look at this particular important point, very important point. It is going to secure the data part of the IP packet. So the data part of the IP packet is nothing but the payload. So it is going to provide the encryption security service to this payload only. That is the reason why it is called as the transport mode. Remember, the name of this particular mode comes from this particular transport level segment. Since we are going to provide the security for only the transport level segment, here we have seen that the TCP header plus data, we call it as the transport level segment. Since in the IP layer we are going to provide only security for the transport data or the transport segment, this particular mode is called as the transport mode. This is very important. So we are going to encrypt this particular data, but we have seen the ESP packet, right? ESP packet consists of different parts, like the first part is SPI and the second part is sequence index or sequence counter, sequence number, anything we can take, and then we have the payload. So the payload is nothing but, this is important, the payload is nothing but TCP segment, and after payload we have padding concept, and after padding we have something like pad length, and another thing we have is after pad length we have next header field, and finally we have the ICV. ICV stands for integrity check value. So this payload is nothing but the entire TCP segment, and this SPI and the sequence number, these two things are called as the ESP header. And this padding, the pad length and the next header, they are called as the trailers. The payload is the TCP segment, SPI plus SN becomes the ESP header, and padding, pair length and next header becomes the trailer. So what happens if I select the transport mode for the IPv4 packet? The ESP is going to do like this. So whatever part you have, that is the TCP header and the data, it is going to be encrypted along with the ESP trailer. So it is going to add, since you are using this ESP, listen carefully, since you are using this ESP, you are going to add the ESP header and you are going to add the ESP trailer. So this is what happens in the transport mode. So whatever data you have in the TCP header and data, you are going to make use of this, that means you are going to precede it with the ESP header and end it with the ESP trailer. The encryption takes place from the transport level segment only, for the transport level segment only, that is from the TCP header plus data plus ESP header. This is where you are going to have this security or encryption. So the TCP encrypted part, this is very important. This is the difference between the transport mode and the tunnel mode. So here what happens is the transport header plus data plus ESP trailer, you are going to encrypt it, and whenever you have the authentication, whenever the other selects the authentication also. So what happens there is, from ESP header to ESP trailer, it is authenticated, and whatever authentication information you have, you will be keeping it at the ESP authentication. That means you are keeping it as a trailer here. And since this is the IP layer processing, you have to add a extra information in the form of IP header. So this is what happens in the transport mode of the ESP with IPv4 version. So let us look it with a clear diagram. So we have three different parts like this for the IPv4. This is IPv4 before applying ESP. Data, it will have the TCP header, and again it is having the IP header. This is without ESP, and this is IPv4 without ESP. And if it is having, if you provide the ESP, what happens here is, I told that the TCP header and the data remains the same, and ESP header is going to be added, preceded to the TCP header, and ESP trailer is going to be added at the end of the data. And as I told that the encryption is always done from the TCP header to the ESP trailer. From here to here encryption takes place. And if you want to have authentication, you just need to add this ESP header also. From here to here. This particular diagram is very important for explanation of this tunnel mode and the transport mode. We didn't enter into the tunnel mode, we are just going through the transport mode. So, here you will be adding the authentication, and whatever information you get, that is added as the authentication trailer or ESP authentication trailer. This is after adding, this is IPv4 with ESP, but you have to add the additional information at the IP layer in the form of IP header. So, the entire thing from here to here, this IP header, ESP header, TCP header, data, ESP trailer and ESP authentication, that is the IPv4 with ESP. And you may get a doubt, what about the IPv6? So, IPv6 means, I know, let us draw another thing. We know that IPv6 consists of 4 parts, that is the data, and then we have TCP header, and here I have IP header, and from here to here extension headers. So, this is IPv6 without ESP. So, what happens if we use the ESP in the transport mode? So, what happens here is the same thing happens here also. What is that? You have the TCP header like this, and you have the data similar to that of the previous one, and you have to add the ESP header. And this is the destination. Simply you can combine it also, the ESP header, and we know that it is also, the ESP is also having ESP trailer also, and if you choose the ESP authentication, that authentication will be added as the last part of the packet. And you have to add the IP header and the extension header, that is it, nothing more than. This is IP header and this is extension header. This is IPv6 with ESP, and we know very well that the encryption always starts after the ESP header, that means from here to ESP trailer. So, this is encryption part. And if you want to authenticate, you need to add the header also, ESP header, from here to here, that is it. Everything remains same, everything from IPv4 and IPv6, but you should be very careful that for the normal IPv4 or IPv6 packet, you need to add the ESP header as well as the ESP trailer, and if authentication is needed, you have to add the ESP authentication trailer also. And remember that encryption always happens after the ESP header, that means the TCP header plus data plus ESP trailer, and authentication happens with the ESP header, TCP header, data and ESP trailer. This is the important point you should remember. So, that is all about the transport mode. Let us quickly go through the different steps that are required for the transport mode operation. Right. What are the different fields that are used for the encryption is very important, and what are the fields that are used for the authentication is important with respect to IPv4 as well as the IPv6. So, with respect to IPv4, the TCP header plus data plus ESP trailer is going to be encrypted, and with respect to the same IPv4, in the transport mode, the ESP header plus TCP header plus data plus ESP trailer, 4 parts is going to be authenticated. The same thing with respect to IPv6, same thing happens. The encryption is going to be performed on the TCP header plus data plus ESP trailer, and if destination is there, you can add it to the encryption also. And authentication remains the same. The fields that are involved in the authentication are the ESP header followed by the destination followed by the TCP and then data, and then you have ESP trailer. These particular points are very important. Please keep it in mind, and once we have this clear discussion on the transport mode, let us see what he is saying now. So, for this mode using IPv4, ESP header is inserted into the IP packet immediately prior to the transport layer header. So, this is what we have seen here. Before TCP header, you add the ESP header. And the ESP trailer, I shown what is the ESP trailer is. It is padding, pad length, and the next header fields is placed after the IP packet. So, ESP trailer, which is nothing but padding plus pad length plus next header, it is going to be added at the end of the data. And if authentication is selected, the ESP authentication data field is added after the ESP trailer. So, if I select authentication also, the ESP authentication data is going to be added after this ESP trailer. Everything we have explained, everything. So, the entire transport level segment plus ESP trailer are encrypted. This is what I am saying. So, TCP header plus data plus ESP trailer is going to be encrypted, and authentication covers the entire ciphertext. So, from here to here we are doing encryption. So, this can be treated as the ciphertext, and this ciphertext plus the ESP header will be added to the authentication service, and that information will be kept as the last information, that is the trailer, which stands for the ESP authentication trailer. And let us see what are the different steps that are involved in the transport mode operation. We can just summarize it. So, we have seen this. So, at the source, the block of data consisting of the ESP trailer plus the entire transport level segment is encrypted. This one, the entire TCP segment, this one, along with this one. Let me change the color also. So, this from here to here, it is going to be encrypted. This is what he is saying. This is what happens at the source side. So, the entire block of data, that the transport layer segment, which consists of this TCP header plus data plus this ESP is going to be ESP trailer is going to be encrypted, and the plain text of this block is replaced with this ciphertext. That is what we have seen. So, once you encrypt these three things, we are going to convert the plain text into the ciphertext, and that ciphertext is used for the transmission. And if authentication is added, which is an optional thing, no need to add the authentication all the time, but if required, you can add it and you can place it at the end. And the packet is then routed to the destination. So, you have this source here and you have this destination here, and these two source and the destination are connected via the internet, let us say. So, it consists of different routers, different systems, firewall systems, anything you can have it here in the network. So, from here to here, one packet has to be transmitted, that is from source to destination. The packet has to be transmitted via all these routers or via some of the routers. It depends on the routing. So, you have different routing algorithms that support this routing from the source to the destination. You no need to worry. There are a lot of routing algorithms that are already present, and there is lot of research that happened and that is happening in the present scenario also in the routing algorithms of the computer networks. So, each packet is then routed to the destination. Once the packet is ready with all the ESP header, ESP trailer and authentication trailer and IP header, you just has to transmit it from the source, that is it. And it will route to the destination. Each intermediate router needs to examine and process the IP header plus any plain IP text extension headers. So, during the transmission, as I told that it is going to transmit through different routers like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each and every router, it will open the packet and it will check what is the next routing address and it will be transmitted like this. And again it will open, it will check the next hop, it will transmit like this. Like this everything happens. But remember that it is going to examine the IP header only. It is not going to touch what is there in the ciphertext. So, here you can observe that you are going to provide the confidentiality service, very important. So, it is not going to examine the ciphertext. And at the destination, when the packet reaches the destination, it examines and processes the IP header plus the plain text IP extension headers, if any. So, this IP extension headers is related to IPv6 only. There is no need for the extension headers in the case of IPv4. So, if it is using IPv6, everything will be examined. Then on the basis of this SPI and ESP header, which is present in the ESP header, the destination node, this node will decrypt the remainder of the packet and recover the plain text. So, this is what happens here. That is what we have discussed from the last few minutes. So, at the source, it is going to add the TCP header, ECP and it is going to add the ESP header and ESP trailer, and it is encrypted. It is entirely converted into the ciphertext, and for above this we are adding this IP header. So, during transmission, the different routers here, it is going to examine the IP packets only. It is not going to touch the internal part. Why? Because it is encrypted. That is how we are providing the confidentiality service. Once the packet reaches the destination, it is going to open the ESP header and it will go for the SPI, and where it will get lot of information related to the security association, and then it is going to decrypt the packet, and then it is going to get this TCP header plus data in the plain text format, which will be transmitted to the upper layers. So, the transport mode operation provides the confidentiality for any application that uses it. So, the advantage of this particular transport mode is it is going to provide the confidentiality for any application. Any application can be making use of this service. And there is no need. What is this advantage, sir? It is common thing that it can be used with any application. Okay, but what is the need means you need not separately include the security services inside each and every application. So, since you are applying this ESP at the IP layer, every data that is transmitted from the application layer is going to be processed through this IP layer, and then everything will be secured. Whatever data you take, any application you take, any application, if it is going to transmit the data via the IP and you are securing this IP with IPsec, that too we are using the ESP, then every data that is transmitted by any application is secured. There is no need to individually secure each and every application. So, nothing to do with the application layer. No need to provide the security at the application layers, because all the application data will be transmitted via this IPsec. So you are providing the security for each and every data that is provided by every application. That is the advantage we have. But what is the disadvantage is, it may, the attacker, even though he is not getting what is present inside this TCP level segment. Why? Because it is entirely encrypted and you are transmitting the ciphertext only. So the attacker will not get any information related to this actual data. But if he is intelligent enough, he can do the analysis on the traffic. So it is possible to do traffic analysis on the transmitted packets. So once you have the analysis of traffic of the packets that are transmitted from the source to the destination, you means the attacker will be having some idea what type of data is being transmitted between the source and the destination. So this is the disadvantage we have with the transport mode. That's all about the transport mode. So once we have the clarity on this transport mode, let us move our discussions to the tunnel mode. The disadvantage of the transport mode is that it is prone to the traffic analysis. So by traffic analysis, the attacker may have some idea of what type of data is being transmitted. In order to avoid this traffic analysis, you are going to the something you can say that more secure thing, which is called as the tunnel mode. So the tunnel mode does not allow the traffic analysis to happen. This is very important point. Let us see what the author is saying here. So the tunnel mode ESP is used to encrypt an entire IP packet. This is very fundamental difference between the transport mode and the tunnel mode. So let us see an IPv4 packet. IPv4 packet has three different parts, that is the data part, and here the TCP header and the IP header. The transport mode is going to provide the security to the transport segment only, transport level segment, that is from here to here. Therefore, it is going to encrypt the TCP data and the data, TCP header and the data. This is transport mode. But if you look at the tunnel mode, the entire IP packet is going to be encrypted. That means it will start from the IP header and the entire TCP header plus the data will be converted. That means it will be encrypted. So this is tunnel mode. Since you are securing the IP information also, the IP header is also encrypted. It is in the ciphertext format. Though the attacker gets the information or the packets from the tunnel mode, he is not able to get the information related to this IP header. Why? Because it is encrypted. So this is the advantage we have with the tunnel mode. That is the reason why I said that we can say that the tunnel mode is somewhat safer than the transport mode. So when you have to provide more security for your organization, it is better you go for the tunnel mode ESP. And whenever you have some relaxation of the security, there is not much importance is there, and you want to provide the security between two different hosts, then in that case you can go for the transport mode. But if you want to provide high security for the entire organization or for the different networks that are located at different locations of a particular organization, it is better you choose the tunnel mode. So the basic difference is the transport mode is going to encrypt the TCP data plus TCP header plus data, and the tunnel mode is going to encrypt IP header plus TCP header plus data. Now let us see how we are going to add the ESP header and how we are going to add the ESP trailer to an IP packet. Let us see with an example. Let us go with the IPv4 packet. This is IPv4, which consists of data and TCP header, and then we have IP header. This is IPv4 without ESP. We are discussing about tunnel mode. Let me keep the heading here. And coming to IPv6, let me draw here itself. This is data, and here we have TCP header, and we have IP header, and in between this IP header and TCP header I have extension headers. This is IPv6 without ESP. So with ESP means what would you do? You simply add the ESP header and ESP trailer, but you should be very careful where you are going to, what mode you are going to use. If you are going to use the transport mode, you are going to secure only the TCP header and data. But if you are going to use the tunnel mode, you are going to secure the entire IP packet starting from the IP header plus TCP header plus data. So let us see what happens in the IPv4. How we are going to add the ESP header. As I told that you are going to secure the entire IP packet. This is IP header, and this is TCP header, and this is data. So you add the ESP header. Very simple technique it is. ESP header here and ESP trailer at the end. And if authentication is selected, you add the ESP authentication trailer. Right. This is what you have to do. And I will tell you something more about this one, but remember that this is how you are going to add the security. And as I told that the encryption always happens after the ESP header, that is from here till ESP trailer. And authentication is from here, that is from ESP header to ESP trailer. From here to here we have authentication. And what happens in the IPv6 means the same thing happens. We have this one, that is the data preceded with TCP, preceded with extension headers, preceded with IP header, and you are going to add the ESP header, and you are going to add the ESP trailer. And if authentication is required, you add it at the end. And we know that encryption happens from here to here. And the authentication happens from here to, that is from authentication header, that means ESP header to ESP trailer. That is the simple thing you should understand. There is something to explain here. Let us postpone the discussion. Once I come to that particular topic, I will discuss it. So in the tunnel mode, ESP is used to encrypt the entire packet, as we have seen. For this mode, the ESP header is prefixed to the packet and the packet plus ESP trailer is encrypted. We know this. And this method can be used to counter the traffic analysis. This was already discussed. And one more important point we have to remember in the tunnel mode is the new IP header. Very, very, very important. Why we require the new IP header means, as I told that, let us take an example here. This is my source and this is the destination. Let us assume that both of them are connected via an internet. And this internet may consist of different routes, and each and every packet may take different routes like this. So, this is router 1, router 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and so on, like that. The internet may consist of n number of routers. So, when a packet is transmitted from the source to the destination, the routing information is present in the IP header. You should concentrate here. So, all the routing information, which route it has to take, whether the packet has to take the 1, 2, 3 or 4, 5, 6 or 4, 5, 7, 8, everything is present inside the IP header. But in the tunnel mode, what you people are doing is you are putting the IP header inside the ESP header. So, if this packet, assume that this packet without any additional information, if this packet is transmitted to the network, you just throw it to the internet, this packet, it is not having any idea where to transmit, what is the destination address, what is the route it has to take. All this thing is not available at this packet. Why? Because this is completely encapsulated. You can see here the IP header is along with the TCP header and the data is encapsulated within the ESP header and the ESP trailer. So, it cannot open the ESP header, the router, router 1, it cannot open the ESP header. It will look only for the IP header only. So, since it is having the ESP header, it cannot get any idea of what route it has to take. For this purpose, what you have to do is you have to make use of a new IP header. This is same for the IPv6 also. A new IP header is to be added or is to be preceded before this ESP, and this new IP header consists of all the information required for transmitting the packet from source to destination. All the routing information is present inside this new IP header. So, in the tunnel mode, it is mandatory that a new IP header is created with the route information and that is being transmitted. So, this is the packet that is transmitted from the source in the tunnel mode. Why we are adding this new IP header means, you can see that the tunnel mode is providing the security for the entire IP packet, that is, it includes the IP header, TCP header and data. If you encapsulate these three data information inside this ESP header, the nodes that are present inside the internet cannot route the packet to its destination. To route the packet to its destination, the routing information and the destination address is to be added with the help of the new IP header. Very, very important. This is one of the difference between the transport mode and the tunnel mode. This is what he has explained. Because the IP header contains the destination address and possibly the source routing, directives and hop by hop option information. It is not possible simply to transmit the encrypted IP packet prefixed by the ESP header. This is what I told. So, this entire IP header, TCP data and ESP trailer is encrypted, and that too it is encapsulated and encrypted. So, the intermediate nodes will not have any idea of the destination address and the next hop address or routing information. So, for this purpose, to satisfy or to transmit the packet from the source to the destination via number of intermediate nodes or the routers, you should have to prepare one new IP header which should be preceded to this ESP header. So, the intermediate routers would not be able to process such a packet. Therefore, it is necessary to encapsulate the entire block, that is the ESP header plus the ciphertext plus authentication data. See here. So, from here to here, everything is encapsulated within this new IP header. So, once you have the new IP header, everything will be clear. With this new IP header, which consists of sufficient information for routing, will be delivered to the correct destination. And since you are just encapsulating or you are just encrypting the original IP header, the traffic analysis is not at all possible for the attacker. This is the advantage we have with the tunnel mode. And one more important thing you have to understand here is, let me draw it with an example. In the first diagram, you have seen that the transport mode is used to secure the two hosts directly. So, the transport mode is suitable for protecting the connections between hosts that support ESP feature, but tunnel mode is useful in a configuration that includes a end device of the network such as the firewall or the router or some gateway like that, right. So, let us draw one diagram to explain the operation of the tunnel mode. So, this is internal network of a particular company, let us assume, and we have a system that is connected here. Let us say that is destination D. Assume I have a source system somewhere around in the world, and I make use of the external network, that is internet. Like this. This is tunnel mode. I am still explaining the concept of tunnel mode only. Please concentrate. We will explain what are the various steps that are needed to make use, that are needed for the tunnel mode operation. Very important thing. So, this is the scenario. So, I have a source system S, I have a destination system D, and the source system is directly connected to the internet, and the destination system is not directly connected to the internet. It is connected through an internal network, that is a private network. And one important thing you have to remember here is, whenever you have the internal networks like this, there exists a single gateway or single exit or entry or exit point. So, for the entire network, do not assume that it is having only one system. Like this, we can have any number of systems that are connected, and all these systems are connected through different devices like routers, everything like this. Like this. Let us assume. you have to understand one important point, that these type of internal networks or the virtual private networks are connected to the external networks like the internet via a single entry and exit point. Very important point. So whatever data that is transmitted towards this network from the external world, which is called as the inbound processing or inbound packets. So we are getting the information from the external world to the internal network, that is called as inbound, and whatever data that you transmit from the internal network to the external network, which is called as the outbound. So the inbound and outbound packets are the networks is very important. So the inbound packets and the outbound packets, they are going to be transmitted from the same single entry and exit point. This single entry and exit point, we can call it as the gateway, or it can be a firewall also. So we can call these such type of devices such as the gateway and firewall as the end devices of the network. So for this network, the gateway or the firewall will be the end device. Anything that you transmit to the outside world or anything that comes from the outside world will be through this single entry point. Those devices can be a gateway or a firewall. Very, very important. So whenever you have this type of setup, where you have a source which is connected to the internet and the internal network which is having different routers and different number of systems, and the internal network is connected to the external internet with a single entry or exit point like the end devices such as the gateway or firewall, you are going to use the tunnel mode. This mode you are going to use. But for the transport mode, nothing is required. You just have to have two devices, that's it, two hosts. If this scenario is there, what is the advantage we are having? What is the advantage we are having? This is what we are going to discuss. The series of steps that are to be followed for the tunnel mode for this type of scenario, where you have an external source and internal network, and for that internal network you have the destination and they are connected via the firewall. As step 1, the source has kept everything ready and it wants to send the data. So it will prepare the IP packet like this: data, TCP and IP. And remember that you are using the tunnel mode. And this IP packet, the inner IP packet, let me call this as inner IP packet. This consists of destination address. Let us call the data as DA and the destination address as DE. So the source S prepares the inner IP packet with a destination address DE, this one, of the target internal host. So this is called as the internal host or target. The IP address is DE. So that DE is included inside this IP, that is the inner IP packet. And since this is the tunnel mode, what happens? The entire IP packet, the TCP header and the data is having or is preceded with ESP header and succeeded with ESP trailer. And then this entire thing is encrypted. This is ciphertext from here to here, and authentication data is added, data. It is not mandatory, it is an optional thing. So it may be added, the authentication data may be added, and If you are doing like this, previously I have told that you don't have any information for routing that packet. So what you have to do, you have to add the new IP header. So you add the new IP header here. New IP is going to be added. So once you have this new IP header, now you are ready with the entire packet. You are ready with the data. Now you can transmit it to the external network. So step 2 is step 1 is you prepare the data in this format, like IP, you store the destination address of the internal host of the destination, and you have TCP data, and you add the ESP header and ESP trailer, and entire thing you have to encrypt it, right, from here to here. Sorry. Let me rewrite it. So like this, the packet is ready at the source, and you just transmit this packet over the network. This outer IP packet, let me call this as the outer IP packet, and this one as the inner IP packet. The outer IP packet, as we have discussed, that it consists of the destination address of the end device, not the internal host device. The internal host device network or the IP address is present inside the inner IP packet. But the outer IP packet, what it will do is, it is having only the address, the IP address of this network or the gateway. Let us say the IP address as GW. So this consists of GW. The destination address is GW. Therefore, this outer packet is intended to deliver the packet up to this gateway only. Listen carefully what I am telling. This is very important. So whatever you have, that will be delivered here, and what this new IP packet is having is, it is having the gateway address plus the routing address also. So within this internet, it takes different routes and it reaches the firewall, and for this routing, entire routing up to this gateway, it is going to use the outer IP address only, outer IP address, IP header. Once that packet has reached the gateway, now it is the responsibility of the gateway. So what this gateway will do is, or the firewall, the destination firewall, what it will do is, it will examine and process the outer IP header. Okay, the outer IP header is processed, and it identifies that, okay, this packet is for myself only, so I can receive this packet. Once it receives the packet, it will go for the processing, that means it will go for the decryption. It will go for the decryption process based upon the SPI which is present inside this ESP. See here, this ESP is not converted into the ciphertext, right? So by making use of this ESP, that SPI that is present inside the ESP header, it is one of the field, SPI is one of the field in the ESP header. It is going to decrypt the data. It is going to decrypt the data, and the remainder of the packet, that means it is going to decrypt the packet, means it is going to convert this ciphertext into plain text, and the entire remainder of the packet, that is from this IP to the TCP and data. So up to here, it will get the packet like this: IP, TCP and data. This IP consists of DE, that means the destination address DE. And since this is the network, up to here what this gateway is doing, it will simply receive the packet, it will check whether it is intended for this gateway or not. Once it is authenticated, then it will simply perform the decryption based upon the SPI and SPI, and the remaining part of the packet, which consists of the destination address DE, will be thrown to the internal network. So, via this internal network you can have lot of routes. So, it will take different routes and the packet will be reached at the destination DE. So, the inner packet, that is the IP, the original IP, TCP header and data will be routed through more number of routers in the internal network to the destination host. Once it is received at the destination, it can strip off this IP, inner IP, and it can have this TCP and data, and then the necessary processing will be done. This is the important point you should understand. Why I have explained all these things is, transport mode will be used only when we have two different hosts that are connected directly or indirectly. But the tunnel mode is more secure than the transport mode, where it is going to have some scenario like this, a single host or something like a host that is present inside the internal network. You can have the internal network also like this, and this source is connected here. In such scenario, this source is connected to different internal different destination that is present as the internal network of some other location, and they are connected with the internet, and this is what is going to happen. The entire IP, which consists of the DE, the inner IP, TCP data, will be encapsulated inside this ESP header and ESP trailer, and we know that IP, the inner IP, TCP and data will be encrypted to represent the ciphertext, and that ciphertext along with the ESP and the new IP header will be transmitted over the internet. The new IP header will be destined to the end device, that is the gateway or the firewall. It will take different routers and it will reach the gateway. And the important point here you have to remember is, the gateway is going to do all the processing. So, decryption is performed at the gateway. But if you consider the transport mode, since they are directly connected, the decryption is the responsibility of the destination device only. So, it is having the extra burden of decrypting the data or decrypting the packets. But if you consider the tunnel mode, you are just relaxing the destination systems. What you are doing is, you are burdening the gateway, you are burdening the end devices. So, gateway is responsible for decryption process. So, everything is done at the decryption, and you just transmit the inner packet with the inner IP address and the TCP header, and the data will be transmitted via 0 or more routers inside this internal network, and it will be delivered to the correct destination. And destination system, it does not have any burden. Why? Because already decryption has been performed by the gateway. It simply has to take the data and do the necessary processing. So, one important point is, transport mode is somewhat less secure. Let us have the this is all about the tunnel mode operation. These are the 4 steps that are involved in the tunnel mode operation of the ESP. Let us have a just overview of what this transport mode and tunnel mode differentiates. As I told that the transport mode is less secure when considered to that of the tunnel mode. Transport mode is always necessary when you have the 2 hosts that are connected directly. On the transport mode, the decryption and everything will be burdened on the host only. But if you consider the tunnel mode, it is more secure than the transport mode. Why? Because it does not allow, here the transport mode allows the traffic analysis. The tunnel mode does not allow traffic analysis. That is the reason why we say that the tunnel mode is more secure than the transport mode. And the second thing is, you are going to secure the entire IP packet by making use of the tunnel mode. So, you have to add extra IP headers inside this tunnel mode, but there is no need for the extra IP headers at the transport mode. No extra IP headers. And in tunnel mode, you are going to burden the destination by because you have everything, the decryption, everything should be done by the destination. But you are going to relax the destination system in the tunnel mode because the decryption will be performed at the gateway. These are the few differences we have between this tunnel mode and the transport mode. So, let us quickly go through these steps. So, the steps that occur is, this is what I have explained. The source prepares the inner IP packet with destination address of target internal host. The packet is prefixed with ESP header, I know this. Then the packet and ISP trailer are encrypted, okay. And the ciphertext, if authentication data is there, you add it to the ciphertext. The resulting box is encapsulated with new IP header, this is very important. And this new IP header consists of routing information plus the destination address of gateway. And you are ready with the packet. Once the outer packet is routed to the destination firewall, each intermediate router needs to examine and process the outer IP header, and it does not need to examine the ciphertext. And the third step is that the destination firewall examines the processes of the outer IP packet plus any outer IP extension headers. Then on the basis of SPI and ESP header, the destination node decrypts. This is important. Decrypts the remainder of the packet to recover the plain text inner IP packet. This packet is then transmitted into the internal network. So, the inner packet is routed through one or more or 0 or more routers in the internal network to the destination host. The differences, this is what happens in the tunnel mode. The differences between the transport mode and tunnel mode is very, very important, and you should understand the basic concept that lies in this transport mode and the tunnel mode. So, transport mode means it is going to secure the TCP segment only, transport segment, which is nothing but the TCP header and data. But tunnel mode is going to secure the entire IP packet, which that means it is going to secure the IP header plus TCP header plus data. And in transport mode it is less secure, tunnel mode it is more secure. Transport mode does not the traffic analysis may happen in the transport mode, traffic analysis will not happen in the transport mode. There is no need for the new IP headers in the transport mode, and there is need for the new IP headers in the tunnel mode. And we have seen a lot of things related to this, right. So, burden, extra burden is not present in the present in the transport mode for the destination host, but the extra burden is taken, that means extra burden in the case of decryption. So, decryption will be performed by the gateways in the tunnel mode, therefore, the destination host systems are not that much burdened to perform the decryption process. These are the various differences we have seen through the discussions. These are the various differences that we have derived from the various discussions we have done up to this point. So, let us end our topic with the protocol operation of the ESP. This I have explained it in the starting of the discussion itself. So, application we have data, and at the TCP layer data will be processed and the additional information in the form of TCP header is added, and at the IP layer the entire TCP segment, that is TCP header plus data, TCP segment is equal to TCP header plus data. It is added, it is processed, and the original IP header is added. If you have the IPsec, you can say that you are going to, this is the transport mode. So, you are going to encrypt from here to here, and ESP header is added, and the original IP header remains the same. If authentication is there, you are going to add the ESP authentication. What happens in tunnel mode? This is the protocol operation of ESP in tunnel mode. So, you have the data from the application, and TCP header is added to this data, and this TCP header plus data we call it as TCP segment, and at the IP we are adding the original IP header, and since it is in tunnel mode, the entire IP packet has to be secured. Therefore, ESP header is preceded this original IP header, and you have this ESP trailer and ESP authentication. So, from here to ESP trailer you are going to encrypt, and from here to here you are going to authenticate. Since you don't have this since you are encapsulating this original IP header inside this ESP header, there should be some provision to route the packet from the source to the destination through different types of routers. So, that is the reason why you again add some new IP header which is having the destination as the end device, like the gateway or the firewall of the destination, and it also includes the hop by hop information or any routing information is added inside this IP header. So, this is the protocol operation for ESP in the tunnel mode. Everything we have seen. So, in this session we have discussed we have started our discussion with what are the various types of modes of ESP we have. There is the transport mode and the tunnel mode. We have gone through a simple diagram of depicting this transport level security and the tunnel level security, tunnel mode security. We have gone through the TCP IP model and how the data is going to be processed in the TCP IP model at the sender side from top to bottom, and how it is going to be processed at the receiver side from bottom to top, with the two versions of IPv4 or IP also we have discussed. IPv4 how it looks, IPv6 how it looks, and once it is processed with the ESP, how the IPv4 is going to be converted in the transport mode, and how it is going to be converted in the transport mode with respect to IPv6. Everything is discussed. And again the same thing, how IPv4 is going to be converted in the tunnel mode and how IPv6 is going to be converted in the tunnel mode. Everything we have discussed, and we have seen the transport mode operations with different examples. We have seen 3 steps related to this transport mode, and similarly then we have gone through the discussion on the tunnel mode, where we have taken a good example of the organization setup for the tunnel mode, and we have seen the 4 different steps that happens during this tunnel mode. These are the 4 different steps, and we have ended our discussion with the protocol operation for ESP in the transport mode and the tunnel mode. That completes a complete discussion on the transport mode as well as the tunnel mode. These are the very important topic, the 2 modes of operation of the ESP, that is the transport mode and the tunnel mode. So, that is all for today's session. Thank you one and all for joining the session, and in the next session we are going to discuss about what happens if we combine various security associations. We know what security association is. We know that we have 2 different security associations, that is AH and ESP. So, is there any need to combine the security association? Is there any need to combine AH and ESP? All these things we will discuss. So, if it is needed, what is the combinations? What are the combinations we have? Everything we will discuss in the coming session under the heading of combining security associations. So, thank you once again. Thank you all for joining the session.